Hello, Explore! I hope you're all well and have had a really good week and are ready for our next Explore session, the next part of our story in the book of John in the Bible. Who are we learning about? We're learning about Jesus. What things are we learning about Jesus? We're learning about all the amazing miracles that he has done. Let's start with a game, okay? So why don't you run and grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and we're going to do a little quiz, a little game. So pause me now whilst you run and get some paper. Well, I hope you're ready with your paper and pen, okay? And this is a true or false quiz. So what you need to do is when I say the question, you need to write true or false, okay, for the question. So are we ready? Okay, so is it true or false? There are 7 days in a week. True or false? Number 2. There are 10 months in the year. True or false? Number 3. Potatoes grow on trees. True or false? Number 4. Paddington Bear likes marmalade. True or false? Your nose and ears keep growing as you get older throughout your whole life. True or false? The song Let It Go is from the film The Lion King. True or false? That was number 6. Number 7. Jesus turned water into wine. True or false? Number 8. Jesus healed lots of people. True or false? Number 9. Jesus walked on water. True or false? And number 10. Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. True or false? Okay, hopefully you've managed to get them all written down. Rewind the video if you missed any of those, but let me give you the answers now. So, number 1, there are 7 days in the week. It is true. Number 2, there are 10 months in the year. It's false. There are 12 months in the year, aren't there? Number 3, potatoes grow on trees. That is also false. Potatoes grow in the ground. Number 4, Paddington Bear likes marmalade. That is true. Number 5, your nose and ears keep growing all the way through your life. That is true too. Number 6, the song Let It Go is from the film The Lion King. That's false. It's from Frozen. Number 7, Jesus turned water into wine. It's true. Jesus healed many people. That's also true. Jesus walked on water. That is true. And Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. That is also true. You should have got those last ones right because they're part of our stories that we've been looking at. I wonder how many you got. Well, I don't. You can let me know. You could send me an email just to see how many people got all of those right or many of those right. So it's just a little game to start off with, thinking about true and false. Now, in our story today, we're going to see something that is really true, that is amazingly true, but a lot of people think it's false. Okay, so we're in the Bible, we're in the book of John, and we're after. So last week, Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. Okay, and now we've skipped ahead a bit in the book of John. Okay, so what happens to Jesus? Remember, so Jesus does many other things, and then people start to get angry with him, don't they? And then they take him, they arrest him, they accuse him of lots of things, and then they put him on the cross to die. Okay, so we've had that. So I'm skipping over that, and then we are now. Jesus has died, and we're now. So, like we learn at Easter, Jesus is now dead and has been dead for 3 days. Okay, so we're going to start this story at John chapter 20. Okay. So early on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene went to Jesus' tomb. It was still dark. Mary saw that a large stone had been moved away from the tomb. So Mary ran to Simon Peter and the other follower, the one Jesus loved, that's John. Mary said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, but we don't know where they have put him." So Peter and the other follower started for the tomb. "We don't know where they have put him." They were both running, but the other follower ran faster than Peter. So the other follower reached the tomb first. He bent down and looked in, and he saw the strips of linen cloth lying there that Jesus' body had been wrapped in, but he did not go in. Then following him, Simon Peter. He went into the tomb and saw the strips of linen lying there. He also saw the cloth that had been around Jesus' head. The cloth was folded up and laid in a different place from the strips of linen. Then the other follower, John, who had reached the tomb first, also went in. He saw and believed. Then the followers went back home, but Mary stood outside the tomb, crying. While she was still crying, she bent down and looked inside the tomb. She saw two angels dressed in white. They were sitting where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and one at the feet. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" She answered, "They have taken away my Lord. I don't know where they have put him." When Mary said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Whom are you looking for?" Mary thought he was the gardener. So she said to him, "Did you take him away? Tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." Mary turned towards Jesus, and in the Jewish language she said, "Rabboni." That means teacher. She recognized Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Don't hold me. I have not yet gone to the Father. But go to my brothers and tell them this. I am going back to the Father and your Father. I am going back to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and said to the followers, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them what Jesus had said to her. Wow! Not only have we seen Jesus healing people, turning water into wine, having power over nature and healing and death, here we see that Jesus, though he was dead, has been raised to life. Wow, what an amazing miracle. Okay, so Jesus, he was dead and is now alive. Okay, so just like last week, we saw that Jesus has power over death and defeated death, but there's something different this week. Okay, and we're going to see. We're going to follow on from what we looked at last week. So our 2 points last week were Jesus, okay, has defeated sin and death. Last week we looked at Jesus has defeated death, okay, and we're going to think about Jesus defeating sin as well this week. So Jesus, he had to die on the cross, didn't he, to save us from sin, all the wrong things that we do. But if he had stayed dead, that wouldn't have helped us at all, would it? Okay, it wouldn't have led to us having life. Okay, last week we saw that Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, but Jesus raised him back to himself. That meant Lazarus wasn't going to live forever. He was going to die again one day, maybe when he got older. So how do we see that Jesus really has defeated death? We saw he has power over death. But today we really see that he has defeated death, because not only has he been raised to life and he has life, he would never die again. So Jesus, being raised to life, he is alive now. He never died. He went back up to heaven to be with God, but he is alive. Okay, so Jesus truly defeated sin and death. And what did that mean for us? It meant we have life forever, don't we? It meant we could have life. But to have life with God forever, we have to be forgiven, don't we? Because we can't be friends with God if we have sin. We can't be friends with God. sin is like a barrier between us and God. But when Jesus died on the cross, it meant that we could be forgiven and that sin taken away so that we can be friends with God. Okay, so Jesus defeated sin and death so that we could be forgiven and have life. So, how do we know this is all true? Lots of people said it was true and lots of people said it was false. Like our game at the beginning, there were some things that were true and some things that were false. How do we know this is true? Well, first of all, we have it in here. The Bible is a book given by God to us so that we can learn about him. So it tells us in the Bible, and everything in the Bible is true. But still you might think, is it though? Is it true what they were saying? Well, let's take another look. The book of John was written by John. And he saw all this. He was one of the people running to the tomb, and he wrote this up afterwards. So John saw with his own eyes this empty tomb. Wow, Jesus' body could have been taken away. He might not have been alive. He could have been stolen. People in those days stole bodies and stole things from graves to sell. But remember, when they looked in the tomb, there was cloth there. There was the linen that Jesus' body had been wrapped in. If someone had stolen Jesus' body, they wouldn't have taken the cloth off, would they? They would have just taken it and it wouldn't have been there. So the cloth was laying exactly in the place where Jesus' body had lain. And it was all folded up neatly. So that shows us that it wasn't a grave robbing. That shows us that it did truly happen. Not only that, who did Jesus appear to? Just told you. Who did Jesus appear to? He appeared to Mary, didn't he? Mary saw, that Jesus was alive. She thought he was the gardener at first, probably because she wasn't looking up and she was feeling really, really sad. But Mary saw Jesus. Not only that, later on, Jesus appears to his disciples and his followers, and he appears to lots more people before he went up to heaven to be with God. Well, if there's lots of people saying that Jesus was alive and was raised from the dead, then how can we deny that? How can we say it's not true? If people have written it down and said, I saw him, we can see that it's true, and it means we can believe in it as well. So when people tell us or say to us, I can't believe you believe that, Jesus isn't alive, Jesus didn't come back from the dead, no one can. Well, you can say, well, people saw it happen. And we believe that what's in the Bible is true. And if we believe in that, then we are friends with God, and we will be one day in heaven with him forever. Okay. Isn't that amazing? There's so much in the Bible about Jesus and about God and about what he's done for us. Fantastic. Well, I hope you all listened well to that and understood that. Let me pray for us now. Thank God for that. Let's do our prayer drill. 1, 2, 3. Dear God, thank you so much for what we heard last week, that your son Jesus had the power over death so that we could have life. I thank you for what we've seen this week about Jesus being raised from the dead and who is alive now. We thank you your son is alive now and with you. We thank you that we've seen that this is true, that is a true story, that people saw this happen so that we too can believe it and have life forever with you. I pray that you'd help us to follow you all the days ahead. Amen. 4. So the craft today explore is a scene of Jesus' resurrection. So you've got Jesus' tomb. So cut these out. You've got the tomb. You've got Jesus alive, and you've got this as well that says Jesus defeated death so that we can have life forever with him, that you can stick on the front of the tomb of the stone. Then you stick this to the back here and cut part way around the stone and fold it so that you've got a flap And there you go, you can see Jesus alive to remind us of the story that we've seen today and what it means. There's other activity pages on the email. I hope you have fun doing those, and I'll see you next week. Bye!